About it.
The future of the cap is actually just 12 aprons. Every team has to follow one or the other.
On top of one another.
Oh, guys, get ready for a show here.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast.
Let's go.
Live from the eye of the storm right now. If you guys don't know this because you're not in Denver, Colorado, just like 2 minutes ago, an enormous storm rolled in. It is thundering down there.
It's really, is it hail or just rain?
I think it's just rain, but that's like the most
loud.
rain.
Yeah.
If I could make a bold prediction, we're going to lose power during this show.
Very good odds on that.
Yeah, that's like a one pepper take.
Yeah, maybe
we're
two.
safe and sound. Why? Because we're in the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It is Spirit Week. What's our theme today?
Mystery guest.
There is a guest joining the show that none of us on the panel know who it is.
Kale has booked a mystery guest.
Kale has booked somebody, and we were unable to prepare for it. That'll come in segment 2. But first, we have some big stuff to talk about, including a shakeup in the Nuggets front office. Let me introduce my panel, Brendan Vogt.
I wore the ALLCITY St. Patrick's Day shirt. I don't know if this is a part of Spirit Week. It's not St. Patrick's Day, but it is very comfortable. You can get yours now for next year at the merch store.
What a promo.
Wow, just cut the promo right there.
If you want to get a Christmas shirt, you can get that.
Why not?
Too. I mean, just anything you
You
want.
can get them now, wear them then, you know?
Harrison Wind.
Man, Spirit Week rolling on. A lot of really cool surprise guests across the network. Former Avs coach.
Yeah.
Tony Granato was on the Avs show.
Yeah.
Buffs had a former player on their show, Cam Silman-Craig. So some cool guests so far. No Sean Moreno popped on the Broncos show today.
Oh, did he get booed?
No.
People hate No Sean Moreno.
Well, people only hated him when Bo Nix played well. And then when Bo Nix played bad, they were like, No Shot might be onto something.
No Sean. So people don't know. No Sean Moreno, kind of a beloved Bronco at the time, running back. You know, very very passionate guy, tiny guy, but was gave it his all. And he comes on. He's on our show.
What a ringing endurance!
Yeah,
Nah, he was good.
it was so
Tiny
backhand.
guy, but
he
he's actually
gave it
kind of
his
big
all.
for running back. I feel
NFL
like.
running back who 8 tackles on Sundays.
Yeah, I'm just saying he gave it his all.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
comes
he
on the
gave his
show
all.
and then just hated Bo Nix, who everybody loved. I can't imagine what the equivalent would be. Like Earl Boykins, I guess, maybe. He was on the show and just hated Jokic.
Oh, you're thinking of a small player? Another small guy?
Anyway,
Yeah.
we got to get to our top story here ahead of our mystery guest, which is the Denver Nuggets finally made a decision in their front office.
Yeah. Tommy Balchetis is gone. He will not be returning next season.
Yeah, not the decision. Somebody made the joke. The Nuggets so far are minus 1.5
Yeah,
GMs.
no, the front office got
Right.
smaller.
They
The front
keep
office got
cutting
smaller.
roster
one-
spots in the front office.
This one's a huge bummer, man, but I think there's a lot of implications here. I mean, Tommy Balchetis joined the Denver Nuggets organization under Tim Conley all the way back in 2013.
Yep.
At that time, he was director of analytics and had worked his way up until all the way to assistant GM. He'd been with the team for a very long time. I mean, that is now 15 plus years, smart guy, Harvard guy, and was part of, in my opinion, part of the front office that played a huge role in building the culture of this Nuggets.
Absolutely.
I mean, they had a personality that he was a big part of. And so to me, my first thought is I obviously like Tommy. He was a part of this. I'm not totally surprised because when he was passed up, he was assistant GM and then all of a sudden Tenser's name came in. That was odd. We all kind of thought that was odd. But at the same time, my initial thought is, bummer. It was a guy we kind of, had...
Tommy Bracelets, man.
Tommy Bracelets had been there since the start of I've been
He
covering
loved
the
coming
team.
on the show, too.
Accomplished a lot with the Nuggets, was part of the class of executives, coaches, players that grew up with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's a lot of bright spots for Tommy to come, but I would imagine the championship is a strong candidate for highlights in one's career. So it accomplished a lot here. Helped us out coming on the show, helped the fans out sort of explain the perspective of the front office, understood the importance of any sort of conduit between a fan base and a team, and just a cool guy to spend time with. So we appreciate Tommy.
Think about this real quick, just to interrupt you.
Go for it.
Who is here from 2013?
Ben Tenzer,
Ben Tenzer.
Tommy,
Nikola
no longer.
Jokic, actually. If you actually
He
go to
predates Jokic.
2015, I guess you could say 2015 because the Jokic era is really it. If you said the Jokic era, Jokic, Ben Tenzer, and I want to say JB, and Ogie for sure. He came in 2014. He was a year before Yoke.
Yeah.
It's not that many guys.
It's
Tommy
not.
was one of the last guys that had been at the start of the Jokic era all the way to here. And so we're officially in all the boards have changed in the ship, or almost all. The ship of Theseus.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
We've
done that a lot on this show.
every now and then. Rafael. Somebody mentioned Rafael. He's been here as well. Good
Yeah,
call.
Raffle,
Good pull.
international scout, Jim Klibanoff too. So I don't think it was that surprising to hear about this news because for me, it feels like the writing was kind of on the wall when Ben Tenzer became the interim GM.
Yeah.
I mean, Tommy was the assistant GM. Ben was, heading up basketball operations, GM of the Grand Rapids Gold. But it always seemed like Tommy was going to be the next up. So when he was passed over, that was the warning to me, maybe he's not going to be a part of this next regime.
And it might have been different if this was, let's say just for a name, Mike Miller or Darrell Arthur, who's been around. And all of a sudden, the player has surpassed. Maybe it's because connections is that. Ben Tenzer and Tommy, to me, were kind of similar, but one was, in my opinion, a little bit above in the pecking order. So when he passed up, I agree. It felt like a signal of some sort.
And as we mentioned yesterday and in shows past, Tommy, one of, I think at least several, at least as I give you a non-determinate figure, several of front office members had contracts set to expire. So
yes, this is the big thing.
Tommy very well may not be the only one here.
A majority of the Nuggets front office currently has expiring contracts, and his was just not renewed. It was
just not renewed.
Informed, the team informed him, we are not bringing you back next year.
And I think it's also important to say that this was an ownership decision.
Correct.
And it may not be the only one with those expiring contracts, so that's something to watch as well. And then from there, does this present a little insight, guys, or provide a little insight into, okay, well, to some extent, new eyes on an organization, to some extent, a little bit of a different look going forward?
This is what it signals, and this is what it means to me. The Cronkies are being very slow. Stan Kroenke, the owner and governor,
Who are you talking about?
as well as President Josh Kroenke,
okay.
are being very slow, slow right now.
Vice chairman?
Vice chairman. Sorry,
I don't know who
apologize.
you're talking about.
Yeah, vice chairman. Though they're being very slow in this process, and it's a little maddening. This is why yesterday I originally predicted earlier. I now predict it's going to go into next week.
Oh boy,
I know. So I predicted that this might take a while, and I think it's deliberate. And this move signals there have been the revolving shark teeth for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
this to me kind of signals with the front office. I don't know if they're going to go get a big name. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, this means Bob Myers." They're waiting till the end of the finals. Maybe it's entirely possible they're waiting for that or for some other big name. But I think more than anything, they are looking at it and saying, we're going to do a pretty big reset.
Yes.
And whoever's at the top, it's going to be a new staff. We have to reorganize how we do a front office.
That's exactly what it signaled to me. And a lot of the reaction I saw from Nuggets fans and people that cover the team and media was like, how are they letting Tommy Balcetis go? Smart guy, has been with this team forever, involved in all aspects of this organization. He's going to get picked up on another team. He's going to have a job soon. How are they letting him go? This is a mistake. Look, all those ways to describe Tommy are accurate. Like, he has been an integral part of this front office. He has been involved in the salary cap, building the team, the roster, trades, draft, everything. And he has been a really important piece of building this championship team and everything that's gone with it. He has done all that. But to me, it signals that they are going for a fresh perspective and getting fresh eyes and hiring new people. This is a precursor, in my opinion, to them bringing in somebody from outside the organization to replace him. Right. So everybody that's been asking for new people in charge, new perspective, a new take on this roster, we need that. That's what this move is signaling to me. So I view it as, it sucks to lose Tommy. He was a valued member of the front office, but I think it's a positive if you're of the mindset, and I certainly am, that we need a new perspective on this organization.
One thing I thought when it was Tommy and Ben that were kind of, and Josh has mostly signaled as Ben being the guy kind of at the wheel right now. But when it's the two of them and you kind of think going forward, they're both, I think, similar. You know, they didn't not NBA players. You know, they kind of know how the company works. I think they're very good in those types of roles.
Yeah.
But you look at it and say, okay, was Tenzer going to be GM and then Tommy assistant? If not, are you going to knock Tommy off of assistant and down? Now you're demoting a guy to bring in the quote unquote ex player or ex agent or somebody that brings in a different skill set.
Yeah.
So to me, I do think that one, I don't know that it made sense. So they're probably looking at this. To me signals I would be shocked. I think Ben Tenzer is going to be the GM. I would be surprised. I think it's either Ben Tenzer GM, everyone below him, or Ben Tenzer GM, somebody in as an advisor. Maybe it's president of basketball operations. And by the way, some people ask, what does that mean? I think a GM is going to handle your day-to-day stuff, contract negotiations and, you know, how the team runs and all of those kinds of things. And then your president of basketball operations is probably more involved in the big picture, big trades. What does the roster need? Draft, this or that. So the GM almost handles the execution of everything that's going on, and the president of basketball operations has the vision. I think they might either hire someone there and then fill out Ben's staff with basketball people.
Right.
To me, that's where this seems to signal that this team is headed.
That's where I think it's going too.
Completely agree. And then the question from there is it the president's, I think, or Tenzer's sort of, or working together, hopefully, call to flesh out the rest of the staff? And
well, that's the other question here, right? Is who made this call? It does seem like it was the Cronkies who made it. There's no GM now. So is that in anticipation because they know who somebody is and they want them out? Is that just their own making?
Great question. Sort of what I'm getting at. And then, so then do they know who it is? And that person has already sort of been promised some say and let's give me some freedom to build my own staff. Is that the conversation with Ben already? Whatever it is, someone is going to rebuild the front office a little bit in their image. And that's a bit new. As you pointed out, even going from Tim to Booth, it wasn't a complete overhaul of the front office.
Revolving shark teeth. Everybody just moves forward.
But maybe now we are looking at a new front office.
But here's what's interesting about it. No general manager, so Josh and Stan decide it's going to be Adelman. So they made the coaching change. A lot of people say you hire a GM first because they're going to want their own coach. And that does make me wonder who is picking the staff. Is it that you bring in somebody and then they pick their staff? You know, did they not want that person to come in and have to make his first move firing or laying off a guy? Is it just the expiring? To me, this signals that the Kroenke team, whatever that means, the two Kroenkes, the one Kroenke, I don't know, whoever's involved. To me, this signals that they have a vision for how they want to structure this, and they are going to go a little slower than we'd all like, but they're going to try to place, this is what we think the front office needs to be, not just for the immediate future, but for the distant future.
Yeah. The longer this goes on, the less I think it's going to be Ben Tenzer at the top.
Yeah.
Unless they just absolutely strike out on all the guys they're circling. And I do think there's somewhat of a search going on. I don't know what classifies as a search, what doesn't, but I do think they're looking for potential targets. Now, I think you can definitely criticize them on the timing of it. The draft is in 8 days.
To me, here's the thing. This is why I don't think the Nuggets are making big moves. And if they felt they needed to, they probably would have been quicker on this. But you do balance. I
know they don't have a draft pick. I know they're sitting out the draft pretty much, but
trades.
There's a lot of stuff happening on draft night that you would like your front office in seat for.
That's what I mean is those things, I think they look at, they're going to sit out.
Right. And that's probably a red flag, but maybe.
Here's when Josh Kroenke spoke to the media the first time, and really he reiterated this the second time he gave a presser, that the problem was he needs to be more involved in periods of transition. Well, periods of transition, I think the Kroenkes hope are like every 6 years, 7 years. This last one came in 2 years, basically 2.5 years from the Cal era was short. And part of me thinks they're taking their time because their supreme good for running an organization as an owner is to create 5-year cycles, like 5-year minimum, meaning we want to set something up that lasts at least 5 years, not something that gets wobbly. And so they're going to take a little bit more time and try to be deliberate about that. The cost is this is a big year. This is a big offseason.
And things have happened already. Trades have happened already. As folks in our chat have pointed out, front office hires have happened already as well. So even what we were talking about.
Well, that's another thing for Tommy here is it's a little late in the game for him to bounce back this year.
And Nuggets might have some openings in their front office.
And for whoever decides to fill the staff out from there, whether that's ownership, a president, or Ben, those hirings are happening now as well. So at a certain point, the question is, okay, if you're taking your time to get it right, that's appreciated. But is there an extent of taking too much time where it's detrimental to the best outcome?
The Nuggets hired David Adelman, who I think did a good job. The front office, I don't love that it's taking so slow. I am worried that this Nuggets offseason is going to be a run it back type of offseason in a year when it doesn't fit. I'm worried about that part. But I will say, I do think that the Nuggets needed to think long and hard about how they structure their front office. Now, they could still blow this, right? Yeah. They could take a lot of time and then do something terrible, or maybe create a skeleton crew. But this does signal to me that they are taking a holistic approach. They're stepping back and trying to say, what is a good front office? Where have we gone wrong? Clearly, it wasn't just a one guy, everybody out. Let's rethink how we structure our front office and build a new one. Whether or not they're going to be right, right now, I don't know what they're doing. So it
seems like they're definitely placing a much higher priority on making the right hire and hires.
Yeah.
That is way more important than doing something as soon as possible before the draft.
Yeah.
Like they're bypassing that quote unquote deadline of the draft to have a front office in place.
Yeah.
In lieu of, we need to be absolutely positively sure we're hiring the right people. And that, to your point earlier, that makes me think they're sitting out the draft, they're sitting out the summer.
Let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to bring in, we told you what we think. Maybe our mystery guest will have something to say about all of this on the other side.
Guys, Mando is a men's deodorant brand. Thank you very much for that. Charge up here.
There you go, buddy. Got you.
Men's deodorant brand that's hyper-focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. Mando, it keeps all of your parts of your body clean. And I mean all of them. And they have a lot of great scents that are geared towards men specifically. Bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport. I'm a fan of the bourbon leather myself.
Are you?
Got that on right now, actually, if you've noticed.
Oh.
Maybe you haven't.
That's my favorite flavor, beef jerky.
Bourbon leather.
Yes.
Mando is the whole body deodorant that was actually created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Choose from a variety of scents like bourbon leather, Cloverwood, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. Clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. Right now, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our code DNVR. 40% off your starter pack when you use the code DNVR at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Smell fresher, stay drier, boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
Let's talk about Empire today. There are some things where you just don't need the experts. Maybe you could watch a YouTube video. Maybe your friend is handy. Maybe your friend's got a big truck, so you don't need to get the movers and the whole thing. If you need new flooring, this is something you need to go to the experts for. And not just people that provide it, not just the big warehouse stores that have a lot to offer and maybe folks with less expertise looking to help you out. You have to shop with Empire today because these are experts, and these are experts determined to minimize, mitigate, eliminate those surprises. When you're shopping for the right flooring for your home or business, how does it look in your house? How does it look in your space? The colors with your furniture, these are all things that should be considered. Precise measurements need to be taken. All your questions need to be answered. They are with Empire today. So schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. You heard that right. $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/DNVR for full details.
All right, Kale, we put you in charge to find us a mystery guest for today.
Oh my God, who is this? Yes.
Hello, the DNVR Nuggets, gentlemen.
What?
What? Also, why do we have the scoreboard from the last game up there? Get that thing off of here, Kale.
That's
what are you
Jesus.
trying to remind us of
Is
over
the
here?
mystery guest Mark Dagnall?
Let's get the reveal.
Oh my God! Is the
What
mystery
a
guest going to reveal
handsome
himself?
crew in the
What the
studio
hell is-
today.
What is going on right now? Do we not get to talk to him? Do we just? Oh, we can't see him.
Can the mystery guest
He's
hear
a-
us
he's
right
a
now?
True mystery.
The mystery guest can hear us. Okay.
Oh, so we're interviewing them the whole time without knowing who they are?
Okay.
Roll with it.
Mystery guest.
Yes, and it.
Mystery guest. What are your thoughts on the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Easy, fellas. I asked the questions today. So,
This is Miroslav.
Kim, can you please bring me to the yeah. So, guys, I'm gonna ask you a series of trivia questions about the Nuggets, and for every question you answer right, I'm gonna take off a piece of clothing
Gross.
from my hand. Don't worry, that's my hand.
Definitely Miroslav.
Did he say he's going to take off a piece of clothing?
He did,
for
yeah. I don't want to do this.
For
All right,
every
hey, let's do
correct
it. All
answer, yes. So, first question: who is the Denver Nuggets franchise leader in total rebounds?
Jokic?
Yeah, I think it's Jokic. It was Dan Issel if you go with ABA and NBA, but Jokic got. Oh, I mean, come on.
Nikola Jokic is correct. Question number 2: who is the Denver Nuggets franchise record holder for the total assists?
4 assists.
I think it's also
It's Jokic for sure.
yeah.
It was Fat Libby. We passed him a long time ago, or it was Alex English.
That is
Wow.
correct.
Still don't know who it is. It could be anybody.
Hopefully, last question for the day. Who is the Denver Nuggets franchise record holder for triple doubles?
This is
I think
also
that would
Nikola
be.
I think it's Jokic, yeah.
Hey guys,
It's him.
Hey guys, what's up?
Wow, dude, I did not expect it to be you.
I am so happy you answered these questions correctly this fast because it was so hot under this and this mask, and not only because I'm hot, as you well know.
Yes, of course.
I was kind of hoping there were going to be more than just 3 questions.
Yeah, that was a fun trivia. Miroslav, I think this showed me that I could. There's no filter you could put on. I would know exactly. The moment you said anything, I'd be like, only Miroslav talks
Yeah,
that way.
who talks like that? One guy. One
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. On brand. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
So Miroslav, you just saw. I assume you saw. I don't want to presume you saw our segment 1 because this is a big deal. Like we're analyzing it here, but the Nuggets not renewing the contract of Tommy Bracelets to me signals okay, they are really going to clean house, so to speak, in their front office. So what is that? What does that make you think when you hear that news?
Well, I think they just have to hire somebody from outside of the organization now. They've already have fewer guys on their staff by the virtue of not having Calvin Booth and Tommy Balcetis anymore. So I'm guessing they're not gonna upgrade some video guys, into assistant GMs. They're just gonna try to add some new voices to the mix, and I think that's a very welcome thing, because I think we always say that the Nuggets players are more valuable to the Nuggets than to the other teams because of the specifics of how the team was built. Well, maybe it's time for the Nuggets to have a similar view of their own guys as the other franchises do. Maybe it is time to think about the core 4 guys they have, and think hard about, is this the best path going forward? And I'm pretty sure the old front office wasn't able to look at it with as much objectivity as somebody from the outside might.
Well, that part of it, I think the Nuggets, I don't think the ownership group has not arrived at that conclusion. I think a lot of Nuggets fans have. I think the ownership group still believes in the core four. And to be honest with you, I think that's not a crazy thing to believe. The Nuggets starters were not a problem. Michael Porter had a rough series that last one. Guess what? They still were good as a starting group.
Right.
It was their lack of depth. So whether you agree or disagree with that part of it, I think that, one, it's crazy they let Tommy go 1 week before the draft. It shows that even this next step, because they keep saying, like, if they don't have somebody hired right now, they still have their scouts. They still know what they want to do draft-wise and everything else to move forward. But now Tommy's out, so one of the guys that helped make that plan is out. And then, two, I think the Kroenkes don't want to make drastic year-by-year swings. Is it laziness or an overbelief in continuity? I don't know. But the core four thing fits into that. I think they believe in that, and they just think that little moves along the way is all that a team should do.
I actually agree with that. And sometimes mid that OKC series, I even said that the Nuggets starting five was a better group than the Thunder starting five. That was my belief. But the thing is, with the new CBA and the way the contracts are being made, there's no room for the Nuggets to have a 8-9 solid rotation with all the top-heavy contracts they already have on their books. This is the only point I'm trying to make. Next season, we are going to get Joker at like 55 million, which is a lot, and we're going to get Jamal on his first like 48 million, and Michael Porter at almost 40. Aaron Gordon is still at the bargain, like 22 million. But in 2026, that's going to get even worse. You know, everybody's going to get a raise, including Aaron Gordon, who's going to be at the 30 at that moment. And we are already talking about Christian Brown getting a raise in 2026. So,
but MPJ had maybe moved at that point, though. I mean, the point is right now where the Nuggets are this year. I think they're. I think the Kroenkes are signaling that they just believe that the problem was their 6th, 7th, 8th guy, not their 1st through 5th guy.
And their head coach and GM.
And their head coach, for sure.
Yeah. Good luck using minimum contracts to get a 9-man rotation they're going to rely on heavily.
Yeah, I mean, look, I also understand the skepticism. I, too, am skeptical. I'm just trying to tell you what it appears to be that the Nuggets are signaling, as well as one Kroenke trait. And I think one of the, like, we just listened to what Josh said. I think Josh and Stan, because they have so many different things, they kind of like a set it and forget it. Here's our core beliefs. We hire people to do a thing, and then we don't make big moves. We just kind of let things play out for really long periods of time. And to me, it's taking a long time to get this new front office because they're trying to get a set it and forget it front office in place that they don't have right now. But also why they probably view this summer as a little bit more less needs to happen is because they think there's a set it and forget it roster more or less happening right now.
And that part is the biggest concern to me. And that's been the biggest concern ever since Vice Chairman Josh Kroenke spoke after firing Calvin and bringing in David Adelman. And his message has been like, we're going to go with internal development.
Yeah.
Like, that's honestly a little cringe to me.
Yeah.
I think that can work for certain guys. I hate that that's what it seems like is their overall philosophy because I don't think that's what it should be.
I kind of understand Miroslav's perspective here. I agree with the major premise that the Nuggets actually are pretty close, that it's just their 6, 7, 8 guys. I just think part of the conversation now is what are their paths to getting the right 6, 7, 8 guys, and are they paying now for original sins of years past in terms of their lack of maneuverability, the contracts they've handed out, to Miroslav's point, the draft capital they've burned to get guys who remain question marks and not sure things, etc. So I understand it, but I also understand the fear from the fan base of, could it be another Game 7 where you go, well, they were close, but not close.
Could have gone their way.
Like the biggest fear is we're in this exact same spot next season.
Sure. And by the way, I'm not trying to defend that strategy. I'm trying to explain it.
For sure,
to me, this is what everything is signaling, kind of fits a pattern of how the Kroenkes have run their organizations of and even Josh, it just echoes in my mind the thing about Josh, I need to be more involved in transitionary moments, but not overall, because I just want to set things and then step back for a couple of years and let them play out. And they're in a set things mode right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Well said.
Well, let me ask you. Actually, hang around, Miroslav. Let's take a quick break. On the other side, I want to ask you. You're joined the Nuggets family 10 years ago. It's been mostly positive, but I wonder if you're starting to feel a little bit of why there's always been Nuggets angst. You know, a bunch of the lifelong Nuggets fans. If you're starting to see, oh, I get it now. Other side.
Breaking news from Bet365. New promo dropping exclusively for finals, for the NBA Finals, that offers customers a chance to win a jackpot of up to $100,000 in bonus bets with the first play fortune. Here's how it works. Enter for a chance to win a share of the $100,000 jackpot in bonus bets. What you got to do is place a 3-leg same-game parlay where the 3 legs are player to score the first basket, player to get the first assist, and the player to get the first rebound. Got to make those 3 bets and exactly those 3 bets. Log in, place your bet, sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place your 3-leg same-game parlay bet, $1 minimum. You can just do it for $1. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only, opt-in required. And what's cool is if no one wins the jackpot keeps going up by $50,000 each game. So take advantage of that at Bet365. Use the code DNVR365 to sign up.
It's raining, it's pouring, the roof above your head needs some restoring. You got to hit up our friends at Red Hawk Roofing, Denver's best roofers. I've joined the DNVR team. You guys know them. They're on the Nuggets broadcast now. Try not to forget us when you get famous, fellas. Go with the pros. Whether the issue's real big or real small, develop a long-lasting relationship with a local business that's determined to make life better for locals. It's quality materials.
These guys are doing my roof right now, by the way.
That's right. And how would
Probably
you...
not right now.
Well, probably not exactly right.
Well, I hope they are.
This would be a rough moment.
I hope they are doing it right now.
Or I don't know. Maybe they power through hailstorms. I don't
would
know.
show some dedication.
That would be dedication.
Maybe they just power through this.
To be honest, it might be that this is the job got bigger today. We're gonna have to expand.
Found a couple more leaks.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's all right. They won't complain. Decades of experience, quick response time. Colorado's best estimators and contractors. Free, no obligation roof and property inspections. Free in-depth photo reports for all inspections. They are not here to take money out of your pocket. They are here to put a sufficient, efficient, up-to-standard roof over your home or business. Supporting your local teams means also supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com or call 720-771-8921. Tell them DNVR sent you.
All right, let's bring on mystery guest again. There, Miroslav. So, how are you feeling now about, do the Nuggets feel like a second-class organization to you now, more so than ever? Are you worried about that? Are you still saying, hey, TBD, we just won a title 2 years ago. Let's see how this plays out before we say anything?
Well, no. I don't think the Nuggets are a second-class organization. They have been paying tax for several years now, and they're going to continue paying tax, which is, of course, something fans want to see. It's just the human nature that the Nuggets were on the up and up for 7 years. Then they won a championship, and then every following season felt less or more underwhelming. So that is the only thing here. Yeah, I can be I think it's fair for me to be skeptical about them not having a GM 8 days before the draft, and also hiring a head coach before the GM. That is also something that not a lot of teams are doing in the NBA, and it is a sign that for you that maybe Josh Kroenke is just going to be the de facto GM going forward, and this is just his way. Okay, this is my coach. You're going to have to learn to work with him, unless of course it's Ben Tenzer, because Ben Tenzer already knows how to work with David Adelman, and that's going to be smooth sailing. It's just the matter of, do we think that's an upgrade over what we saw last season with Calvin Booth and Mike Malone?
Let me say this. I think that anything is going to be an upgrade over Michael Malone and Calvin Booth.
That is very fair.
I honestly think so, because I think it was an actual negative, not a neutral, but like
It was a negative.
active negative on the team. So I am optimistic that that part won't be the case. But here's the thing I think that I would imagine that the Cronkies are wrestling with right now. Would you rather nail this offseason, whatever that means? And we all kind of feel like there's not that many moves the Nuggets could make this offseason, that even the most optimistic sort of maneuvering doesn't land them like something crazy. So would you rather nail that, but get an unstable, like you didn't really get a good, fix the problem and create a long-term plan with a long-term structure? Or would you rather kind of sit out this year, but create something that you feel is going to give you the next 5 years, you're going to have really well-established front office? Now, there's no way to guarantee either of these two things, but I think the Nuggets are likely looking at this scenario that way and saying, this summer, there's not a lot of flexibility. I don't know that we're going to make, and I don't know that we need it. They're going to argue, we don't need it. We're right there. But we're setting ourselves up for the rest of Jokic's career. We're going to have a 5-6 year structure in place that's going to be one of the best over that era, even if this summer is underwhelming.
Yeah, didn't we do that in the last 2 seasons? That was exactly the plan, and it failed miserably. So
for sure. For sure, that was more Calvin Booth's plan than the Kroenke plan, but you are correct that was the same messaging for sure.
So we had 2 gap seasons, and now somebody wants to make me buy a 3rd gap season in order to get the seasons 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever. To be the better one. I think as long as the Nuggets hold on to their core 4, they're going to be 6 guys heavy going forward.
But Miroslav, would you also agree with the premises that Porter at this stage and Murray right now with the new contract aren't likely to fetch upgrades? So if you
absolutely,
so just humor me, because I'm picking up what you're putting down for sure. But if they move those 2 guys now just to do it, are they not creating another gap year?
Yeah, and that is the kind of gap year I would actually buy.
Okay.
Because another gap year with everybody on board is just doing nothing. It's just for you hoping that Peyton Watson all of a sudden develops incredible basketball IQ, or like Julian Strother becomes an amazing defensive player, or whatever you want from your other guys.
Another couple inches.
Yeah, so that's my fear. Like, I wouldn't mind a gap year if that means, okay, we are fixing our books in accordance to the new CBA, because we cannot function like this and expect to be a real championship contender. Now, the real question for me, guys, is whether the Cronkies are really interested in going for another championship, or do they want to stay in that top 6 tier of teams that guarantees them high ticket prices and playoff appearances, compared to going really deep into the tax or going really deep into the front office and coaching staff payments?
I think you're framing that as if it's like pure greed, and I don't know if it's necessarily that, although I'm sure there's some of that too. I'm not trying to let them look. I think the Cronkies look at it, the way I would frame it is, do you want 1 year with a 30% chance of winning, or 4 years of an 18% chance of winning? And I think that's what they would look at, is say, we want the 4 years of 18. So we're going to try to keep this open because, like, this year things could have bounced right for us, and you go all in, you find yourself in a Milwaukee situation, that might be a disaster. So to me, I think that they're more looking at this as, let's keep this window open for the next 4 or 5 years and hope that the books get cleaner, even with us keeping our team together.
Yeah, they're not just going to miraculously become cleaner. They need to trade some guys to get them clean.
I think Michael Porter's tradable next year.
Possibly.
Expiring.
I just think on an expiring, he'll be tradable.
I mean, Reggie Jackson was an expiring, so you never know how those things go. Dario Saric is an expiring.
Yeah,
he is.
I think the Cronkies are likely operating under a handful of assumptions. One is that the team is very close. Now, Josh Kroenke did go to the podium and say, we're close, but we also don't want to pretend we're not. I think they kind of know the stakes, but also probably feel more optimistic about where the Nuggets are and how close they are. I think they believe that Michael Malone and Calvin Booth probably took off 5 or 6 wins from the regular season this year. And so changing those, even if you just get neutrals, adds like 3 or 4 wins. I think that they think they're going to have flexibility down the line. And I think that they're probably hoping that internal development or believing internal development is going to be greater than what the average Nuggets fan is. And possibly also when you talk about rehabbing value, I think they think that players like Zeke Naji, Jalen Pickett, Michael Porter Jr. are going to be more tradable a year from now than they are right now.
Well,
so
that's definitely true.
So that's a lot of assumptions, all of which I think are more likely than not, but all of them collectively going exactly to plan is less likely than not.
Yeah.
We are all gonna be behind this team no matter what. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm just, giving my honest perspective on what I think the Nuggets should do. But whichever path they're gonna choose, we are gonna, stay behind it 100% and hope for the best. And possibly win a game 5 that they should have won this year, or game 7 they should have won last year.
What's interesting is that the Avs are kind of the opposite of the Nuggets. The Avs did what all Nuggets fans are saying you have to do if you really believe. They traded everything to go all in this year, and it didn't. And they lost in a game 7.
They traded their kind of Michael Porter / Aaron Gordon for more depth, and it went terrible.
And they made aggressive moves, and it went so. It's weird because they both have to share an owner and share a building, and they did both opposite things, and neither one worked out. They went out the exact same way. Right. And both organizations are like, and both fan bases are like, you should have done the other one. Avs fans are like, why didn't you just keep Miko and do it? It's kind of funny to me. Like, you just got to win, and then it's like that was the right way to do it.
But Miroslav, is it correct in summarizing your position as they are close, but given the cap sheet, they're sort of maxed out? Or their paths to improvement from here are severely minimized? Is that an accurate way of looking at it?
I think their margins are extremely thin. They cannot have one guy, with a hammy going into the playoffs. They just cannot survive anything. Teams like OKC can survive not having Isaiah Hartenstein for half a season and Chet Holmgren for half a season and still be in the finals. Now, granted, the Nuggets will never be able to get that kind of cap sheet like the Thunder has, and neither the Thunder are gonna, honestly. Like, in 2 years, Thunder is not gonna have this exact same team. So something's gonna change there too. But it's just, the Nuggets just need to find a way. You're gonna be shocked when I say this, but I'm not a hockey expert. I'm not an NHL expert.
Oh.
So do the Avs have a guy on their team like Nikola Jokic that makes everybody around him a lot better?
They have
two of them. Yeah.
They have 2 Jokic's.
They have the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So they actually have 2 incredible studs on their team that are among the best players in franchise history.
Ever.
So really, so it is a little bit wild. The parallels are honestly kind of fair, in my opinion, of the 2 teams. Last one I have for you, Miroslav, before we let you go. What's the latest on Eurobasket? When are we going to find out if Jokic is playing for Team Serbia?
That is a really good question. Let me just Google it real quick.
You not thought of this? Am I thinking more about Team Serbia right now?
I want to give you an exact date.
Look, you can
so
see
here's
the
the thing.
computer glow on his face. He's really looking it up.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's the thing. Okay, my hands are here. Okay. So here's the thing. The Eurobasket starts in August 25th, 27th, something like that.
So late.
Nikola Jokic can join the team for only 4 weeks, as you know, according to the
They've done that
NBA
in the past,
FIBA agreement. Yeah. But the team's training camp is going to start a couple of weeks before that. So if my calculations are correct, that should happen at the beginning of July, which is not far away. I expect Coach Pešić to bring his 16-man or 18-man lists in the next 2 weeks.
Is he the coach again?
Probably less than that.
I thought he was done.
Yeah, he returned. The basketball. So here's the thing: the basketball federation. Basketball Federation have a new president, and the first thing he did was asking Coach Pešić to return for at least 1 year and hopefully more than 1 year. So Coach Pešić is back, which is, I think, amazing news. And
me too.
I'm going to say I'm 70% sure Nikola is going to play this Eurobasket. And I wouldn't be as optimistic if they didn't have that incredible Cinderella run last year at the Olympics.
I think I'm about there too, like 70%-ish.
Are they in for sure into Eurobasket, or do they have to qualify in? Like what?
No, they're in.
Do they have the pool play already?
It's an insulting
Do we already
question,
know who's
right,
in pool
Miroslav?
play?
They do. There are 8 groups of 4 teams, total of 32 teams, and it's gonna be tough because as soon as they finish the group play, which is only 3 games, they're gonna play the top 16 elimination games. So there are gonna be a lot of, win or go home games.
Yeah, but who's
at
in their
this
pool?
Eurobasket. It is Latvia
That's a win.
and 2 other teams. It's not a great group. I don't have it in my head right now.
Care about Serbian national team, Miroslav? Is there, like, I thought you were into this stuff, man.
I am into the Nuggets. The Nuggets are my complete focus for the next
All right.
20
Here's the
days.
Kale's got
It's
it.
Latvia, Czech Republic,
Czech
Turkey,
Republic,
Estonia, Portugal, and Serbia.
Oh, you got to go right through.
So 5-0.
Oh man, that's easy. That's easy stuff
You
right
got to
there.
go right through that.
Joker
like
can
paper.
join in the knockout round.
Miroslav, we just shamed him. There's nothing we could have done worse for Miroslav than asked him a Serbian national team question he didn't know.
Unbelievable.
Buddy, great stuff today, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for being
Miroslav.
our
Good to
mystery
see you.
guest.
Hey man, maybe I don't know how to drive or walk awkwardly, but at least I can, dodge a Eurobasket question better.
You're the best, Miro.
Well done.
You're the
Thanks.
best, brother.
Well done.
Take care.
Thanks for cutting the strips.
Serbia running it back with Pešić is so fun. If
Running it back.
the Nuggets installing a president, and then he just decides to bring back Michael Malone as his first move. And please stay on for a couple more years too.
If they fall short, though, are we allowed to start ribbing our Serbian friends? Like, you're just going to keep running it back?
I know.
We're going to
for
finish
real.
in the second
Dude,
round.
Jokic and Pešić this summer, that's a movie right there.
It is a movie, man. But it also, because it's so late in the year, he is going to go right from that to camp.
It's always like
This is more than ever before. Jamal Murray has to be ready to start the
here
year.
we go.
Oh, does he?
All right. Calm down, everyone.
No, listen. You're right.
Let's talk real quick about the NBA Finals. They happened last night. And
watched.
Yeah, I watched as well, unfortunately. And sure enough, the Oklahoma City Thunder moved within a game of their first ever NBA championship. Kind of dominant fashion. The Pacers do what they always do, which is like go on these runs to make it close. But they got close for like seconds at a time. Every time they got close, the Thunder went on a big run, in large part because Tyrese Halliburton pulled an Aaron Gordon, got injured, and had 0 field goals, only 4 total points. This just looks like the Thunder are going to end up winning it. What are your thoughts here based on what's happened over the weekend?
Yes, but I think Indy's earned the I'll wait till they're 6 feet under before I hold the funeral.
Yeah, but the Halliburton piece of this feels kind of
It does.
substantial.
It feels very substantial. First of all, shout out TJ McConnell. I had a feeling it was going to be a short King summer. I'm doing great personally. I did see there's a new Mission Impossible film.
Do you unironically love TJ McConnell?
I heard it was bad though.
I heard that as well, but we'll put that aside for now. I do. Yeah, I love TJ McConnell so much, man. You should see me pumping my little arms as he scores in the NBA.
He
Finals
yells
game.
at his teammates a lot, man.
It's
He
awesome.
has some like a lot of
Did you
like.
see at one point he said they can't guard me? I was up on 2 feet.
I know,
but
he hit one. It wasn't even a 3; it was a 2. It was a
Hey.
Michael Porter 3.
he had a
toeing
great
the line.
game. He had a great
He
game.
really did.
So yeah, but it does look like the Thunder, as they did against the Nuggets, a couple of games here where they went, look, we're the better team, and we're prepared to be the better team. Valiant effort. We're not wilting. But I think the Pacers have earned the respect of just they have kind of run this whole playoff gauntlet on their own terms. So I'll wait and see how it finishes.
Not about whether they win or lose. I mean, J-Dub is the story here. J-Dub had 40 points.
Right.
And he was kind of the guy. I mean, Shea was great too, but
Right.
he was kind of the guy.
Like, is he going to steal Finals MVP? That
I don't
might be
think that's
the only
possible.
thing that's up for grabs.
I don't think it's
left in
possible.
this series. You never know. Never know.
I don't think it is. I honestly cannot see it. We and Legs talked about this on All NBA today, and it was only if it went 7 and Shea was bad in both of the final two,
Right.
and J-Dub was great in the final two.
Yeah.
Because Shea had 31 and 10, 4 and 3, 7 stocks.
9 of 21 from the field.
I will say, man, here's the other thing about this finals that I find interesting. The NBA is the most online league in the world.
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up, man.
Because they got bullied into the decal, although the transposed decal onto the court, and then they got bullied into doing the player intros.
But what they didn't realize is the player intros don't have anywhere close to the same aura that they had years and years ago. So it does not even come close to hitting the same.
Is this nostalgia?
Well, if you remember how the intros used to look, do you remember there was like a big Larry O'Brien trophy on the court?
Oh, yes, of course I do.
And each player came out one by one, and it was an event. It's just starting lineups aren't like that. They haven't been like that for the finals in years, probably a decade almost. So just putting a camera on the starting lineup, it's not going to do it justice. It's not going to seem big. So they got bullied into it, and I don't think it really did anything.
Where I love making fun of the NBA, here's one thing I'll say, Vogt, to play devil's advocate. Yes, the NBA got bullied into it, and the NBA is probably Adam Silver is too susceptible to ideas. But I will say this is what I'm glad of. And it has as much to do with ESPN or ABC as anyone. Even though they didn't nail it, I am glad that they seem to be receiving this idea of the game should feel more important than how you show them.
But why did they need Twitter user Thunder Up 525 to tell them that?
They shouldn't have needed it, but I'm still glad the message was received, even if it's kind of like didn't land.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I think, first of all, less time watching commercials or a certain broadcast crew that I won't name, especially if one of them ends up working for the Nuggets. The less time we hear from them, the better, probably. So it does add to the presentation. I know people feel like they need a little more glamour in these finals. I'll just say, I think the NBA is so damned if they do, damned if they don't with these little tweaks. I mean, again, like 10 years ago, the problem was that it was the same team in the finals every year. Now the problem is that there's too much parity. Like
I know. Yeah.
There's truth to that.
I wouldn't want to be a commissioner, I'll tell you that. I don't mind them making an effort, but to Wynn's point, it does sort of seem like.
But it's kind of a half-assed effort. It's, we're going to do the logo on the court, but it's going to be superimposed and not look good.
I think the problem is that there's twofold. Nate Jones has actually talked about this a lot. Nike and Gatorade really sold the NBA in its heyday. And it was them more than anyone. As those have pulled out, a little bit, they're less important, less influential, and less invested. It really is ESPN that holds the league up, and I just think ESPN has lost their fastball with this kind of stuff. And so they are NBA problems, but only in so much as it is an ESPN problem. Bob Costas was the voice of the 90s. He made things feel big and important. Stephen A. doesn't have that same pull. In fact, he kind of makes things feel less important and more obnoxious. And I just think that's what the real problem is. But I am glad that the league, and really this one's more about ABC, got bullied into, hey, I wonder if we should be thinking about these things differently.
Yes, please. And especially because I'll even go cross sport for this. Maybe a bit unfair, but I don't know if you guys have watched any of the Stanley Cup final. It's unbelievable right now. It's like actually one of the best series I've ever watched in any sport, and I don't even really know hockey that well. But TNT is also really, there's just something really, it's certainly not organic. It's quite literally produced. But their presentation of this is sports, but this is highbrow sports. This is sports, but this is the ultimate destination. There's an air of urgency, a great passion from the presenters and from the commentators before and after the games, during the games. The fan bases have been awesome. I think TNT has generally done a good job over the years, and they did with the NBA as well, of just sort of giving you the moment. And it matters really in direct juxtaposition with ESPN, who I think is kind of largely failing the NBA as a media partner in terms of the conversations they air and the way they don't get these aspects quite right. And I do wonder if that contributes to the ratings conversation, which is particularly sensitive and delicate in the modern media ecosystem, more than we realize, of just people don't want to watch ESPN.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they present the league going forward and how some of these changes. Of course, TNT now moves to ESPN, which is weird. I will say this because Legs is now my guy. I'm watching every time he's on. I want to hear what his takes are because they inform how I do the show the following day.
He's been getting a lot of screen time lately too.
Yes and no. What I find interesting about it is they go to Van Pelt on the post game, and Legler gets like 3 minutes, and then he's out. Then Perk's in.
Yeah, then they bring Windhorst in.
It's almost like they're trying to do too much and appease too many people and bring
with a lot of commercial breaks.
And a lot of commercial breaks. And I'm always like, oh, here's Legs. He's gonna break. Oh, he broke down one play and now he's gone. Like,
yeah, totally.
Come on, I wanted to sit there for a bit.
You know what? If you're at home and you're feeling the same way, you should check out the All NBA podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
He talks for an hour.
He does talk for an hour. It's a good one today.
It does feel a little weird that like even SVP, they just really break down the game for like 20 minutes. It's not like the TNT show where you have like a full 45-minute post-game show.
Asking Shaq what player team is on.
But they don't break down the game is the thing. It's like you bring in Windhorst, then you bring in Legs, then you bring in Perk, and it's just like all these micro conversations.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
There's not a lot of follow-up or in-depth. I mean, I'm throwing it to you here, Kale.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like what worked so well about TNT is they gave them, basically the full hour without ad breaks to have room and breathe and create segments and have bits and stuff. ESPN feels so, like you said, segmented. It's like you're going from interview to interview to interview to interview, and there's no chance for chemistry or for you to feel like you're hanging out with those guys at all. It just feels so segmented. I don't really like it.
They're trying to get as much money out of the operation as possible. I mean, that's obviously what it is. That's why there's so many commercial breaks.
I'm just so into this. I know not everybody is, but I'm just so into this. Like next year it'll be ESPN, Amazon, NBC.
There's hope for NBC, I think.
And Amazon, to be honest with you. Just anytime somebody new enters the fray, you're like, okay, are you going to come up with something creative? What's your version of what this should be? And I'm just kind of excited because I hope there's a fresh idea that's like, hey, that's... you can't copy inside the NBA. It's its own thing. But you can make something completely different, and I hope that that's what we get next year, something that feels like, hey, this is a new way to present a post-game show, and it's kind of interesting. I'm into it.
I mean, maybe this is just a modern thing and a habit and the way we consume stuff now. And honestly, I really don't even mean in disrespect to any individual involved at all. I mute this stuff, man. ESPN pregame, postgame, halftime. I mute it as quick as I can. And
but that's a bummer. It's cool when it's good.
I was just going to say, something's lost in that.
Yeah, something is
lost in that. When I was little, I wanted to hear every word. Yeah. And I've grown up. That's part of it too. But I think there's a way to get this right.
Storytelling is so important. I think this finals has actually been really good. Yeah. And I don't know that the storytelling around it has been that great. It's like the games itself has been great. We'll see what other people think. All right. Do we have any super chats today? I forgot to mention at the top of the show because it was donation day, not super chat day.
Donation day all week. Yeah, if you guys usually super chat, do it in the form of a donation to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Right where you write in the chat box, there's a button to donate. Do that this week instead of super chatting.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is a really cool thing.
Yeah, man. And we'll have a whole big fundraising day Thursday, which I'm really excited for. But yeah, don't super chat. Donate throughout the week if you want.
We got 2 minutes to kill here. Anything to report? Vote.
Just in general?
Yeah, just like, you don't have to be about Nuggets here.
I finished Mobland, so that's, again, as I told you guys, that's what I'm going to fake bond with David Adelman with across the year when I'm not asking him questions about his failures. I'll go, hey, David, are you caught up on Mobland? And so I'm really excited about that.
I think that's going to go well.
Tom Hardy's the man. You should also watch Taboo on FX. I also think they're making a season 2 of Taboo with Tom Hardy. I don't know if this is what you want.
Are you in a Tom Hardy? When you went in your Tom Cruise phase, whole wardrobe, facial, hair, everything. Yeah. What's this Tom Hardy one going to do?
I don't think I can do it. I was
going to say it'd be tougher.
I'm not as badass or dark or
his whole thing dangerous. Is like coming up with funny voices, and that'd be weird since you're a podcast.
Yeah, host. I can't do funny voices, but I am really into the content he's making as an actor. Is that what you wanted when you said stretch for 2 minutes?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. When's your turn? I started, by the way, the West. Ken Burns is the West from 1994.
Ken Burns.
Yeah, it's.
You're right.
I'm watching that show, Tires.
Oh yeah, I've heard
the
that's
new
good
season's
with
so
Shane
good.
Gillis.
It's such a funny show. I mean, I like lowbrow comedy that I can just watch in the background and don't have to pay that much attention to.
Is there a chance this is even better than what was your show that you loved with Vince?
Entourage.
Entourage.
Oh, I mean, nothing will ever approach Entourage, but it's a funny show. Shane Gillis is hilarious.
Did you guys see the DNVR Sports account? Those guys over at DNVR Sports put a mascot list.
Oh
up?
yeah, can we bring this up?
Yeah, who the hell made this?
So I
Is
don't.
this you?
It was not me.
Are you sure?
I swear on my life, this was not me who made this ranking.
This had to have been RC then.
We made a ranking. Well, I'm calling him the mascot czar.
Also, they put "we" in there as if it was a thing that was voted on.
Yeah, no
I
one
know.
had. One person had input
The
on
nerve
this,
of whoever
which
made
is really
this
why
list.
I wanted to bring it
It's
up.
National
so
Mascot
we
Day.
could just-
Somebody at this company came up with a top 5 and blasted it out. It's a ridiculous ranking. I mean, Rocky's clearly number 1.
be honest-
Dinger at 2 is wild.
Dinger at 2 is great.
I actually think there's only 3 spots. There's 1 Rocky, 5 Dinger, and then all the ones in the middle you can put wherever you want.
And the mascot czar who I was talking to after these rankings went out, he said that, quote, some people love Dinger, some people hate him. I've never met anybody that loves him.
Yeah. All right. We're out of here. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us all day
It's
today. Don't
crazy.
forget to donate. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.